Sorry. This thing's wiggling a bit. Hey guys, we're here, aren't we? Aren't we? Yeah, this is the Jasmine. This is the Jasmine. Hi, Jazz. What you doing, Jazzy Bird? Hmm? Whoa. Hi, Lorelei. Cause is eating. That's not unusual. Hey, Mander. Oops. Hold on, little girl. I need... Hey, Amy, good to see you. Oh, all right. Volume on this thing is... I can hear myself. Come on. Let's get the volume down. I have the silly iPad in a case, and it just tried to fall over. I have it in a case, and that's to protect it from the birds, but it doesn't make for the easiest access to the buttons, honestly. All right. That's a little better. Yeah, she's just chomping away. Peaches, come here, Peach. Come on, Peach. Give me your foot. Come on up. There's a Peach. There's a peachy girl. Peaches, you're in charge of the video. Yes, you are. You're in charge of the video. Sugar's iPad, yes. Yeah? Are you sure? You're absolutely positive? You wouldn't believe how many times I've had people tell me, that you shouldn't have them sit on your shoulder because, they'll get dominant. And there's no dominance at all in parrots. There's no such thing. There's territoriality, but there's no dominance. Uh, if you're afraid of having your face bitten, well, that could happen, depending on the circumstances, but it's not something they would normally do. It happens, though, so be aware that if you're not good at training birds, you might end up with a scar here and there. But as they say in Fight Club, do you really want to die without any scars? Yeah, I don't, do I? What's up? Oh, no, you don't need to eat that. That's got the keys to the sanctuary on it, silly. Hmm? Yeah, it's typical. I'm telling you, it's typical. You have one thing happen and then the other things fall in line. With Peach's problem, she's not doing well. We don't know if she's going to make it through this or not. We still haven't received word about the biopsy. And this is the day I would expect to get it back, but it could take a couple more days. Any way you look at it, she's probably going to have an exploratory because she's got a big, soft mass in one of her air sacs. So they'll need to clear that out so she can breathe normally. Right, Peach? And then, of course, since I have to take her out to get her... Hi, Christy. Good to see ya. Yeah, because I have to take her out to give her an injection in the morning, then that upsets Sugar. So I have to be careful because she's already chewed on her shoulder. I call it the shoulder, but that's the easiest part for you to to think of. It's the spot between the primary and secondary feathers. She's hit that twice now. So this has necessitated me getting up an hour early. Right, Pete says? And then it appears as if this is affecting Lucy too, because she's been pulling out feathers. So I've had to increase her dosage as I did with sugar. And then she asked when I get up in the morning, she's the first one to give the medicine to, and the second one is the sugar. I have it timed where about the time I've given everybody medicine and it's in effect, I can take, come here, baby. You want to come down, Mander? Well, come on. Hi, Mander. I can take Peaches out without the total freak out of sugar. You know, taking sugar out in the morning without having without having her wet food in the cage isn't really an option. No, you're not going to eat that. No, you're not. Nope. Where are you going? You want up there? All right, Jazzbird. Hey, Mander. You want to take that spot? What? You want her to preen you? You can give it a try, but I don't think she will. You be nice. You be nice to him. You be nice to him. Come here. Come here. Well, come on. You got a duck. No, you you can't go through the rope. Okay. I can't go through it. No. So when one thing happens, you have the domino effect. Then you have to restructure your plan so that no individual bird is going to lose it over the changes. I do automatically put some, hey you, what are you doing? I put some changes into their daily routine so that if there is a change, they don't freak out too much, but Sugar is just a stickler for getting things in a certain order. She has to be out first, and when she sees me cart Peaches out, she immediately starts for her shoulder. So the point is get up earlier, give her medicine, go around, give everybody their medicine. And when I take Peaches out, that's the point where Sugar is the most under the effect. The strongest effect of the drug is the first 20 after the first 20 minutes, lasts for about another 20 minutes, 40 minutes, somewhere in that range. And then they're just pretty much normal after that, the way their behavior goes. And then I have to rush along to get the wet food into a bowl so that, which is the mash. And then, after I make the mash, in the bowl, I put edamame, I put, some blueberries, a cooked carrot, and part of a muffin. So, birdie muffin. Mander, what are you doing up there? Hmm. Now, some birds like the new situation. I can't, because of mating season, which is also in effect, and because Cecil is just getting too aggressive with the other birds in the flock. He and Bob and Pippa and Snowball come out together. This is the first crew that's out now, and he likes it because he doesn't get chased as much. He does get chased a little bit. This one you can't see her right now. It's on my lap. This is Jasmine. She chases him a little bit, and so does Sugar. So, but not like having Snowball, who is our voyeur. He just has to observe a Saram cockatoo. So he will do that. He will follow one around like a stalker. And actually, he is a stalker. He'll follow them around. He doesn't do anything to them. He just follows them around. Drives him crazy, though. This one doesn't like that. So he likes the new situation where it's not everybody out at the same time. I'm hoping eventually we'll be able to change that. But right now, with all the other things going on, I'm not making many changes. Right? Right. There's a little I can preen in there, but not a lot. Not a lot, big boy. There's another one. Oops, there's one. That's one. This one needs some preening. Now, when you find a feather on one side that needs preening, usually there'll be a duplicate on the other side that needs preening, but I don't see one or feel one. Stalker ball. That's a good name for him. Yes, Peaches. You're doing pretty well, aren't you, baby, considering. I'm not going to say I have a lot of hope for pulling through this. I'm not so sure that there's much of a chance. And I trust Dr. Jenkins. He's the best surgeon, probably, and one of the best in the world anyway. And but when you're going in for an exploratory and you don't know what you're going to find, he could find a real mess in there. So we don't have the x-rays back yet, but I did get a chance to look at them, and they don't look good. Yeah, Christy, I agree with Amy. The information we have is that they continue to breed even into later ages. So we don't know how old Peaches is, but she has laid 2 eggs. One that was really a mess. Albumin came out first, then the yolk, and then a clump of calcium, and then the next egg came out normally. But I mean, it was perfect. Couldn't have been better. Hi there. But with the polyps she has, and you can see them in the picture. Excuse me. You can see them in the picture. The X-ray shows just a huge amount of them. So if they're not cancerous, if it comes back that they're benign, then he'll go in and remove all of those, sealing them with the silver nitrate, and then he'll have to. We haven't discussed this, but with the air sac, he either has to somehow get into it and remove everything, or he's just going to have to remove one of her air sacs and put a ducting in there so she can breathe. That's a spooky one too, because while he's doing that, she won't be able to breathe. So, and it's not like what they can do with mammals, where they can put them on an artificial lung or something, because they have circulation through their lungs. They don't have a reservoir like we do. We have about 80% dead air, and they don't. So, what have you got here? Can't do anything with that one. Well, that's enough. I don't want to preen too much, because you can reach that yourself. Yeah, you can. Ugh. You got more sleep than usual. I got 6 hours and 54 minutes according to my watch. Probably why I'm yawning. Usually I get 4 or 5 hours. But let's see what we got in messages here. Yeah, she's laid more than 2 eggs in her lifetime. She laid a couple the first couple of years she was here, which is unusual for cerams. They usually don't. Right, Peach? I guess I'm gonna have to sleep less. I'm gonna yawn all the time. Well, I also had to take gout medicine today, so I wouldn't be walking around like I was 80 years old. aching everywhere. What are you doing? Hmm? What are you doing up there, little boy? Hmm? Are you a little boy or a big boy? Hmm? Big boy? Okay. Yep. Be great if everybody could hit the like button. Maybe we'll get a few more people in here to see our gorgeous birds in the sunlight. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. This one's a little tired, although last night she was talking up quite a bit. Good grief. I know, Peach. I know. It's a peach. It's a cute peach. Yeah. Hi, Eleanor. Yes, she does seem better. She was pretty active last night. And then she kind of wound down. She looked kind of tired at the end, but you're not going to eat my keys. No, thank you. No, thank you, silly bird. Usually, Christy, it's better. You were saying that one of your parrots laid an egg. Is it better to take it away or leave it? I'm gonna not say 100%, but 95% of the time, leaving it in there is the thing to do. Um, and the reason I leave that last 5% is sometimes they get way too territorial over the egg, and other times they may get confused. They don't even know why it's there. They weren't raised by their parents, and they didn't live in a flock, so they don't know exactly what to do. But yeah, most of the time you want to take the egg and leave it in there. In fact, you can even hard boil it. Bring it to a slow hard boil. Um, I understand that if it's somebody in the U.S., they don't even know that you can boil water, and we haven't been taught in this country how to cook, right? So you want to bring it up to a simmer. A simmer is when you see the bubbles coming to the top, but they aren't busting, and breaking. They're just bubbling to the top. Have it simmer for about 10 minutes. So. Hi, Kaisei. Good to have you back. It's okay. We really didn't get started too early. About 5 minutes late. Getting everybody out here isn't always an easy thing. Sugar comes right out. But you have to coax Salamander sometimes because he's had some bad experiences. Well, he thinks of them that way probably, with being followed around by Snowball and occasionally chased by Bob or Cecil. So, hi, Lorelei. What you doing down there? Sneaking up? Okay, excuse me for the yawn. It's got to be the gout medicine. Because I feel wide awake. I don't feel tired. Come here. Well, come on. No, no. Here's what's going on in the lap. Oh, really, Sugar? Really? What do you want? You want me to play with your beak? Is that what you want? Hmm? And see if we can get her. This one, Sugar. Now, usually she'll open her beak and grab my finger. She's not doing that. And I've noted that usually happens when Jasmine is sitting on me. So it's almost as if I want you to pet my beak, but not while that bird is on you. I mean, I don't know. Do you want me to pet that beak or not? Ah. Well, what do you want? You gonna let me pet that beak or what? Yeah, so she'll grab my finger and then like, push it with her tongue, and she's not doing that right now because obviously I had Jasmine on me. And she went, there she goes. Now she's doing it. Hi, baby. You're a cutie. Yes, you are. As my Chrissy, as far as the flock always being mellow, no. Um, there are issues, and if I had the males out here, you would see them. But right now, it's a little too dangerous to do that. And right now, and also Lorelei can never be out diesel now, so he's done what happens to so many male cockatoos in captivity. He's become aggressive to females, so he's not coming out. You got your mander back. He's back. Yeah, the salmon crested are. I don't know. I like umbrellas, and I pretty much like all cockatoos actually, but for the most part, the umbrellas are usually a little more active. But with some exceptions, Lucy likes to just sit there and look out in that one corner, and she'll defend that corner with her life, pretty much. That's where she likes to sit, and she sits. Whoops, excuse me, Mandarin. She sits up there in that corner right there. That's where she'll sit until about an hour and a half in. She'll come over and say, "Pretty bird." She's got a pretty good internal clock, that one. Whoops. There goes the iPad falling over. Get that in a position where it won't fall over. There we go. Peaches. Peaches. Peach. Hey, man. There goes Mander. Hello, Peaches. Well, hello, Peaches. Huh? Can you do a song, Peach? Nah, not today, Peach. Not right now. I know, baby. Well, thank you, Chrissy. I worked hard. Back when I was going to college, I had a mentor that one of the other professors told me. I never heard it from him, and I don't think he would ever say it, but one of the other professors told me that Tim, his name was Timothy, but he went by Tim, that Tim had taken the IQ test at the college and answered every question right. With an IQ test, it's not really designed so that you can finish it. And getting every single answer right is just not something you ever see, but he did. And he was my mentor, which is good because I have memory issues I didn't know about at the time that you're born with. And so he taught me how to reason, and he helped me, guided me into the right courses so I could have a classical education. And that's the basis upon which I studied these guys. Is I never really stopped learning. Right, Peach? You look good, Peach. You look good. So you can't really learn anything unless you're standing on the shoulders of giants. And boy, I've had some giants. There was Tim Ullman, my German professor, which is another reason I'm relearning German now. I have a tiny amount of time for that, but I'm doing it anyway because you should, as he said, once you learn something, you should use it. I don't think he was talking about atomic bombs. If you learned how to do one of those, you probably wouldn't want to use that knowledge. But you know that it was funny when I took his class. He wanted to learn how to write in German script. We used it in Old English too. It looks like sticks when you write it. So he showed me. He wrote the alphabet out for me, and I memorized it and started using it. I took a test, and he brought the test over to me, and he said, "You got an A on this test, but if next time you don't write it in Deutsche Schrift, which is the German writing, the old writing," he said, "you will fail. Once you learn something, you should use it." So I can still write an old German script, but yeah, or it was the math that was hard to come up with to do it. But yeah, once you know, it's not so bad. You just need the right agent to start it. But behavior is oh, sorry, Peach. I have to preen you because otherwise you're going to get an infected feather to go along with everything else wrong. But yeah, behavior is a lot harder. I took my first courses with Dr. Friedman, and that was a lot of theory, heavy on the theory, a little bit on the practice. And then I took Dr. Zellick's course, which is an online go as you will. I got through it pretty fast and then went back through it again. You can do that for up to a year. Just keep going through it. And then with the companion book, I would not suggest reading that book unless you've watched the course or you're watching the course. But that was 90% how to do it and about 10% theory. There was enough theory there to get you through it, but the book goes heavy into theory. But with her, it's like, here's how it's done. Here's the reason for it, and here's how it's done. So amazing how just a few of her ABA techniques totally turn a bird around. I'm sorry, baby. Using just two of those techniques, I was able to take a yellow-crowned Amazon that was known for attacking every man he got near. And within 2 weeks, I had him out in the aviary, and he would come down to me sometimes and let me hold him, but he never threatened me. And it only took 2 weeks. So most people, I think, would rather just try to figure it out themselves, but behavior is too complicated for that. You'll never figure it out yourself. You might get lucky. You might have a bird that doesn't have any issues like you hear about. But one thing goes wrong and it can all fall apart. And if you don't know what you're doing, so I I really think anybody who has one of these guys should learn ABA, and I think the best bet is to take Dr. Zelik's Animal Training 101 online. You know, I've said this before, but one of our supporters is in Australia was saying, well, of course she can train these birds. Look how they pay attention. And I had to tease him and say, Brad, they're paying attention because she taught them to do that with a technique called calm attention. So it's one I'm reusing on Roman right now, getting him to pay more attention to me because he's such a paranoid bird. He's just afraid. He's afraid to come out. Kai say, I want to ask you a question. How could parrots tell the gender of a human? Well, I'm not sure how they do it well. I mean, they can see into the fluorescent and into UV ranges, which we can't. So there may be something there that tells them. But they know that's it. They do know gender. So you can end up with a bird like Marley, who just would not tolerate men at all, and yet with a simple technique used over just a couple of weeks, you can change it. I had recently somebody telling me that sugar hated them. I thought, birds don't hate. You know, this is the thing. They don't hate. And they don't have our emotions. They have emotions, I have no doubt, but they're not ours. Because emotions are the triggers that help us react to things quickly. And these guys react fast, don't you, Pete? Even you react quickly. You may not move so quickly, but you react quickly. So the idea that behavior is set in stone is just wrong. The behavior is not set in stone. And the behavior she was talking about, hating her, was seeing her as a threat to her mate bond. Because after 2.5 years of working with her to get her where she wouldn't hurt herself anymore, which I could have done in a week if I just broken out of the pattern, we get blinders on, right? The book says this is the top level. You shouldn't give more than this, and you don't give more medicine than that. If you've got a bird that's tolerant to the medicine, extremely tolerant to it, so that a normal dose doesn't do anything, you have to go above that. And you just go up. You know, every 2 days you go up by 0.01 milliliter until you see the behavior stop. So I stopped where the book said that was the upper limit, and that was a mistake. That's why it took so long with her. But we all get in ruts. We all, try to stick to what we know and, whatever the authorities say. And you want to go to authorities first, and then you want to work it out. Use logic to work it out. She's not responding to the drug. So I eventually talked to Dr. Jenkins and said, she doesn't seem to be responding. He says, well, have you increased it? I said, well, yeah, I've taken it up to the max. He goes, well, a max is only theoretical. And that was all it took to get me on board. So, your tail is right where the screen is, but you probably know that. Unlikely it's the smell, I say. They don't have much of a sense of smell. They only have around 300 taste buds, and it doesn't appear they use smell for much at all. They're primarily visual animals. They have eyes that wouldn't we love to have their eyes. They can watch the capillary flow of your blood and see the heat signature of your body. And we don't get anywhere near that. So it's not the smell, I don't think. Yeah, Kiera, mine too. My heart's breaking for my little girl. Little girl. She's such a little bright spot in the world. She's kind of quiet today, but she just loves being around people and making friends, and not so much with birds, but people. I see you up there. Are you ready to come down? Okay, there you go. You want to stay on my hand, do you? Well, I'm not sure how much I can pet you if you're on my hand. You want to switch hands, maybe? On my left hand. That's all right. You can stay on my left arm. That's okay. Not gonna pet under the wings, no. Well, this one tends to enjoy life, and she gets enjoyment out of most days. She has six fused vertebrae in her neck, so that can't feel great, but she has a positive attitude about it. Don't you, Peach? Hmm. If she was actually suffering so much that her quality of life was in the gutter, then of course we'd have to do something else. But right now, she was dancing around this morning, displaying and saying hello really loud and having a good time. She sat with me in the kitchen looking out the window, and not good to keep birds in the kitchen while you're cooking, but I don't do anything in the kitchen that can hurt them. So I do everything with titanium coated pans, and then I'm just warming things in there. I'm not heating anything hot. And then I cook everything in a pressure cooker. So now they're not in there when I do muffins because I have to have the oven up high. So and the windows open when I do muffins. Rain or shine, hot or cold, right, girl? Yeah, Kiara, I understand the flares. I have gout, so I have gout flares. They're not much fun. I was feeling about 80 this morning until I took a gout pill. What are you doing? Didn't want to take it. It's not good for my kidneys. My kidneys aren't doing so good either, so taking a gout pill was. Don't want to do it if I can avoid it. Right, Peach? What you doing, little girl? Yep, I wonder if it's all in whether you feel like living, and I know that Peaches does, don't you, Peach? Peaches, can you say hello? Peaches? Hello, Peach. Hello. What's up, Jazzy Jet? Home, not under the wings, Jazzy Jazz Bird. You doing there, little girl? Hey, guys. Yeah, it's another one of those disgustingly beautiful days in Southern California. Isn't it awful? That's what my dad used to say. One disgusting, beautiful day after another. Hi there, little girl. Lorelei, Lorelei, Lorelei. Oh, is that a sugar? Oh, you two. That is a dangerous situation. Sugar does not really care that much for salamander, and he keeps trying to get preened. I gotta watch that really close. So, we get pushy. Hey, Jazz. Don't get pushy. Why don't you try preening first instead of he doesn't know how? This is the thing. These guys never learn how because they're raised in incubators by humans and they don't get to know their parents or a flock. So neither one of these two really understands the process of preening. Why did I take your chance? I'm trying to save you from fate worse than death. If you get her started, she's going to chase you. She will, she'll chase you. Yeah, they don't usually get too bad together, but here we go again. You guys, you guys. Let's stay peaceful together over here. Yes. Hi, Peach. Hi, Peach. Hi, Peach. Well, you got to remember, Peaches has 6 fused vertebrae in her neck, so she will rest her head on occasion just because of that. But she's still got some spunk in her, this girl, don't you, Peach? Don't you, Peaches? Mm. And she's on meloxicam, so she's got pain medication. Peaches? You say Peach? I love you, Peach. I love you, Peach. Yeah, she's not too fond of having another bird that close to her either. She's not fond of, this is the problem with raising them in incubators. She's not fond of her own species. She actually prefers people, which is, we may see that as convenient, but it's not really. I wish we knew, Christy. No one knows how old Peaches is. You too. You too. Yeah, the best book to learn about these guys is the Manual of Parrot Behavior, and by Andrew Lucier. It's a compendium. It's a bunch of different studies written by different people. Dr. Friedman's in there too, and it covers everything from an egg all the way up to geriatrics and everything that you can run into. Mate aggression, um, issues with mate bonding with people and mate bonding with other birds. All right, you two, let's not fight. Let's not fight. Sugar, come on. She's getting ready to tell him where to go. Yeah, the it's not a cheap book, but honestly, you won't need many more others. I would also recommend for the physiology, although it does cover some behavior, the BASAVA, the British Small Animal Veterinary Association Manual for Citizen Birds. That's another good one. That's a good basics for medical. Clinical avian medicine has a lot in it about surgeries and things, but I mean it covers everything from from common sparrows all the way up to parrots and pretty much every kind of bird, hornbills. Oh, the book is the Basava Manual for Citizen Birds. I will be doing a Q&A at some point too, where I can pop this kind of thing up on the screen, but I can't do that out here just using my phone. And obviously, it's not likely I could use a laptop. They'll eat it. They'll be like, oh, a keyboard. I'll eat that. But when we're inside, I'm going to rearrange that room so I can. Good night, Irie, all day. um, and I'll be able to do more question and answers in there with the way I'm going to set it up. Now, I hate to say it, the manual of parrot behavior, somebody had a pirate copy of that. Um, Thank you. Good night. Irie, all day. Um, they had a copy of it illegally online, and I don't like that kind of thing. I think a book like that, which is that expensive, it doesn't make much money, and people aren't going to publish them if they're stolen. So I actually contacted the people who had the illegal book online and had them remove it. But and I have purchased 3 of those. I gave one away. One was burned up in a fire, and the other one I obviously have in my possession with a few pages chewed, but you can still read it. I also have a digital copy that I use when I have to send somebody a page on something. As this morning I had to do because somebody was asking about Haldol, and they're in the UK, and they needed everything to go to their veterinarian and prove the point. And that would mean having references and what are you doing down there, Peach? She wants to get on the ground. Do you want to get on the ground? What do you want, baby? What do you want? Peaches, what do you want, baby? You just want to sit there? All right. So when I have to send, something over so a vet can look at it, then I'll do that. But there you go. That's one way to get it less expensive. But it's tremendous. You get to the end of that book and you feel you really know you really learned a lot. Another book I learned a lot from, but it wouldn't be good for most people, is The Parrots of Lokio. And what that is they were studying the Puerto Rican parrot because it was vanishing. It was disappearing, okay? They were losing the birds. So what they did is they went down and did a study. And so most of it is scientific. So what you're going to be reading is bird number such and such, interacted with bird number such and such, moved from this tree to that tree, that kind of thing. But it does have an amazing, it has an amazing, like a page and a half in there where it describes in just general terms the life of a bird during the day, and it is just it's something else. But there's some funny things in there too. They were describing setting it. They wanted to set up blinds so they could watch these birds without the birds knowing, and it never worked. Never could do it. 5 years they worked down there. They couldn't do it. As soon as they set up a blind, there was a sentinel watching them, and if they came out of the blind, the birds just left. So they knew they were there the whole time. They never got around that, and they never found their nesting areas. Um, they kept that on the sly. So they found some of their resting areas during the day, but the nesting areas they didn't find. So it's a good book to read if you don't mind reading a lot of heavy science. There's some sections in there that are written in pretty basic prose English, but a lot of it's there's charts and diagrams but they were trying to save the bird, and that's what the book is about. I know there are still copies that you can get. It's out of print, but you can still get some on Amazon. And probably just a general search, you can find some thrift stores that have it. It would send it to you. Another good one to read just about parrot intelligence is the Alex studies, about Alex the African gray parrot and what he learned. And the data was meticulous, kept on him. And there were graduate student after graduate student doing the same thing with him. And the responses were the same. He was getting things 70 to 80%. And part of it, of course, is he got tired. And he would say, I go back now, I go back now. But the Alex studies, there's another one called Alex and Me, which Pepperberg wrote for the public, and it's cute. I mean, it's fun to read, and I enjoy it, but you're not going to learn a lot from it. Where without the Alex studies, you definitely learn. So. Okay, Eleanor, are you bragging? I'm just teasing you. To read it on that, you have to know something about psychology, which you do, of course. So you have to know something about psychology to read that book. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Most people are going to be like reading a chapter over and over again to get the gist of it, I think. But if you have some background in psychology, it's much easier to read that book. But they're not. Human psychology is not similar, really. I mean, they still react to reinforcers and all that stuff that all living things do. But just teasing you, Illinois. I know how bright you are. Come here. Peaches, what are you doing? What's my peach doing? How much longer are we going to have the peach? You're going to get well, huh? Yeah, she gives me that look when I take her and put her on the perch in the kitchen and turn the bright lights on and grab the syringe. I don't know, not this again. I put a collar around her head that's facing up, an Elizabethan collar. It's a really soft collar, and well, it's rigid, but it's got a soft lining to it, so it doesn't hurt her neck. And then you have to feel for the keel bone, and then you move over about an inch, and then she looks at you like, "Why are you hurting me?" Pie Girl, I'll take a look at that Thinking Like a Parrot. I haven't heard of it. Of course, we'll never know what they think like. So all we can ever see is the exterior behavior. We can't see what's in their heads, but it's a nice fantasy world to enter where you try to think like a parrot. That title would probably shake my first behaviorist teacher off. She wouldn't like the title, but then again, she's not one of those people who will use the title against you. You don't usually, when you write a book, you don't usually get to choose your own title. So it may be more scientific than it sounds. Yeah, the publishers like to choose the titles for you. And what? And what are you saying? Do you want that beak petted? Oh, you do? Are you upset with me? Hmm? You're not letting me pet the beak. You're whining. Well, Peach is going to sit up here if she wants to. Aren't you, Peach? This is not normal behavior for Peach. It's usually a marketing ploy. Titles are usually a marketing ploy. Not many authors get to choose their own titles. Unless you're a big name author that has a following, they're not going to do that. They're going to make you choose the one that they think is going to get the greatest number of people to read it. Like some of the books that are put out by science presses, like the Parrots of Lokio. That title wouldn't drag anybody in. You have to know what the book is about. And it's amazing the work that they did. They were able to figure out why the bird was disappearing in the wild, and they were able to change it. Not an easy thing to do. Oh, what? Now you won't let me pet your beak. You won't let me pet it, but you're whining at me. What are you saying? See, I can try to interpret that behavior, but I know that as long as Peaches is sitting on me, there's less chance she's actually going to let me pet her beak. She'll see if I try to touch it, she pushes, basically just goes away. So I'm not letting you do that. But you're whining at me, so you want something. What do you want? What do you want? Ah, is that what you want? Is that what you want? Ah. Uh-oh, here comes Lucy. See if we can catch her doing this. She's got somebody in her way, but she's coming this way. This is her time to start saying, pretty bird? Thank you, Eleanor, for the super chat. Appreciate it. For the donation. Much appreciated. Come here. Pretty bird? Pretty bird? Pretty bird? Pretty bird? Pretty bird? Too many times? Okay, I know. I'm pushing you. Sorry. Let me get you over here. Come here, pretty bird. Yep, she knows time. She knows it's about time for the meeting to end, so she's going to come over and say pretty bird. Aren't you? Mm. This is the one that started pulling her feathers out. One of the reasons I have to get up earlier. Increased her dose by it stepped up 1.01 for like 2 weeks, but she's at 0.15 now, aren't you, baby? Peaches, I've done just the opposite. I've stepped her down, so I want her to, even though she may pluck a few feathers, I want her to be more active. Not that Haldol slows all the birds down. It tends to make her a little slower, but a lot of them it speeds up. I can tell you, I can prove that to you. I could give Bob a nice basic dose for his weight, put you in a cage with him, and you'll be screaming to get out because he goes nuts. He takes a tiny little bit if you have to give him any. Oh, thank you, Amy, for that super chat. Much appreciated. And guess what? She gave you some popcorn. This one loves the popcorn. Popcorn. She only gets it once a week, but she loves it. Oh, you're not going to let me pet you. I don't believe that for a minute. Oh, you'll be amazed. I'm just glad that somebody took the time to compile it. Pretty bird o'clock. You say pretty bird? You don't say it now because you got what you wanted. That's the thing too when you're capturing like something like a vocalization. It has to be over something they want, and they have to make the sound first. So, hi, Aaron. Hello. Yeah, it's the tail end. We got what is it? About another 5 minutes, but I'm glad you made it. Sugar what? Sugar what? Yeah, it's a pretty day out here. They're going to have another hour where they can pretty much all come up and bug me if they want to, which they will. Oh, I see that you just stole yeah, you're stealing Lucy's spot. That's okay. She's not there now. You have some feathers I can preen at least. This is not the best spot for her doing that. Well, it gets too hot here in the summer too. On the longer days, we go out late. And the most sensitive one is Cecil. He's the one that's most sensitive to the heat. So, pretty bird. Oh, you said pretty bird again. That's not normal. Pretty bird. Oh yeah, I did preen a whole bunch, didn't I? Maybe that's what you wanted. Hmm. Well, we do have a membership thing now, so if you want to join up and help up with a little bit of like from $2.99 a month, that kind of thing, or become a patron, where you can join our workplace. And we have a workplace that's workplace is designed by Facebook just for businesses, So if you want to volunteer, which is basically just to get in there and occasionally make comments and watch what we're doing and help out that way, then you would go to our Patreon. You can see that on the show notes. Go to our Patreon website, Patreon/Chloe Sanctuary, or you can go out to our website and hit the support us tab. So, because we can use it, can't we, kids? Yeah, you guys are not cheap. You take one of these in just for basic exam with blood work. You're talking $300. So, all right, you guys cost a lot. I buy a lot of food for you guys, and then you make me cook. You just make me cook. I got to make muffins. I had to make muffins recently, and I mean this was around her time too, when she had to go to the vet. So I end up going to the vet with her, and then coming home and making muffins and getting to bed at 2:00 that night, and then getting up at 5. But you can't imagine what would happen if there wasn't a muffin. I cut one muffin into like 10 pieces. Okay, so I use a muffin and a half every morning. So I take it and then I make a peanut butter sauce, and I put the peanut butter sauce over it. And they just love those. Are you gonna do it now? You gonna do it again? Maybe. Oops, hit the right one. You gonna do it again? No, you're just gonna come over. Okay. All right. So I can't imagine. It's never happened. What would happen if I did not make those muffins? And then the mash I make has as a base in the mash a whole bunch of different vegetables, and then I put in oats, and I put in quinoa, and that helps to make a stable mash. Okay, so that it sticks to all the other vegetables, the corn and the peas and the celery and the potatoes and the sweet potatoes and all the other stuff. So and then I put in 2 cups of pellets. And I don't like freezing it. It does not have the flavor that it has when you just you cook it fresh. But I have found that if you make up like 3 days ahead and you keep it in the refrigerator, as long as your refrigerator is at the right temperature, it tastes just about like it was made the same day. So that works. You can do that. I don't like freezing it though. I don't freeze it. So, well, guys, I gotta go. I gotta take care of these birds, play with them a bit, and thank you so much for showing up. Nice to see you coming in today, Aaron and Amy and Eleanor, Kaisei, and everybody else. And again, thanks for the super chat donations. We definitely can use them right now. We have no idea what the next vet bill is going to be, but went in for her, and the vet bill was $600, almost $700. And Doc is looking at me going, the next bill could be expensive. I'm going, okay. Oh, well, that's what we have credit for, right, Peach? All right. Well, thank you all for coming. I'm going to start playing with the birds and concentrate on them. So thanks again. And I'm going to close it off now. Bye.